Welcome to Lessons from the Cockpit. I'm Belinda Sandor. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome. Welcome to Lessons from the Cockpit. I'm thrilled you're here. I'm thrilled that you found us. We are streaming on our Facebook business page, LinkedIn, and our YouTube channel. So thanks for finding us. We've had some recent changes in terms of where we can stream, and we are figuring that out. So thank you for showing up here. I appreciate it. So for those of you joining us for the first time, I'm Belinda Sandor. I'm the founder of the VA Connection, where I coach and mentor established and aspiring virtual assistants to create, grow, and scale their VA businesses. And I work with my students in my free online classroom, my courses, and my coaching programs. And today I'm going to be your host for Lessons from the Cockpit, my weekly live stream show that airs every Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. So if you're watching us on YouTube, I would love for you to click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so you're notified every time we go live. We have free trainings at least twice a week, if not more. Now, I'd love to hear where you're coming in from. I can see Kathy is here from South Carolina, and Jackie is here from Los Gatos, and George is here from Charlotte, and Kathy's here from Michigan. So tell me where you're coming in from. So today we're going to talk about a very important topic, something I hear VAs talking about a lot, and this is the concept of being ghosted. All right. And we're going to talk about what ghosting is. We're going to talk about what it's not, but mostly we're going to talk about how to cope with it, because it gets a lot of you really down, right? Right. Magda's joining us from the Czech Republic. Hello. And Sonia is here from Toronto, Canada. Fabulous. Good, good, good. So any questions you have about this topic, please put them in the comments. I 100% want to answer them and get clear on this, this topic. There's a lot of emotion tied to ghosting, and I want to blow that apart today so that you can relax and feel better about your work and about your client relationships. Okay, good. So first, I'm going to introduce myself for a minute. This is me and my daughter back in 2010 when I was just starting my VA business, and my life had taken an unexpected turn. I was definitely off track. And so I was sliding into my 50th birthday, and I had expectations about where I was going to be. I mean, we all have that, right? You know, I had left corporate at this point when Emily was born, and I'd started my own business. And I struggled to make it a success for 8 years. And in the end, I decided to close the doors and start over. But on top of that, if that wasn't enough, right, I'm getting divorced. I'm selling my home because I can't afford the mortgage anymore. I need to figure out how to make money. And my credit cards were all maxed out. You know, you kind of get the drift, right? And it was because I was trying to save the business. I was trying to run my family. And, you know, I was stressed out all the time. And I wonder how many of you feel like that, And I'm here to tell you it's not too late to make a dramatic or small change in the way you're living your life. It's not too late. And so here's the thing, though. I knew that getting a job was not going to give me enough money. I knew I wouldn't have the time or the flexibility that I was really desperate for as a mother. And, you know, corporate, they call it 9 to 5, which is kind of a joke because it's really like 8 to 6 or 8 to, 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever. And I often work very late. And this was before the whole world turned 24/7. I can't imagine what it would be like now when people have access to you, all the time on your cell phone. So knowing that having a job wasn't going to cut it, I didn't think I was going to be able to make enough money. And I also, I wanted to be in charge of how much money I made, because when you have a job, your effort doesn't necessarily correlate to how much money you're making, right? And I wanted to be in charge of that. So when I was in this situation, I decided to do some temp work. I had a friend that owned a temp agency, and I called her up and I said, "Hey, I need to get some money in the doors fast. Can I do some temping?" And I did. Here's the thing. So what I saw was there was a huge need for administrative help. And I also saw that she was profiting financially as she should from the work I was doing. And I thought, okay, so if the temp agency is paying me this, but the company that's hiring me through them is paying this, why can't I just get this higher number? And so I decided that I would give it a try. I was a secretary in my 20s, but honestly, the truth is, and I want you to hear this because I know a lot of you struggle with this, none of the skills that I learned in corporate did I bring to my virtual assistant business, except I can type really fast and I'm a problem solver. All the tools that I use as a VA, I did not use in corporate. I used my project management skills, my human skills of figuring things out. But if any of you are feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't have any corporate experience, it's okay. It's completely fine. You are not at a disadvantage at all. All right. So cross that off your list. So a fellow entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur, told me that the best way to start a business is to tell everyone you know what you're up to. And so I took his advice to heart and I got busy. And it was very uncomfortable. I didn't like talking about my work. I didn't like telling people. I was afraid. My imposter syndrome told me that they would think that I wanted something from them. And that is the worst feeling in the world for me. Feeling like people think I want something, and I'd already been in such a difficult situation of not feeling self-reliant. I really wanted to get back on my feet. So I did it anyway. And one day at the school bus stop, one of the dads says, "What's new?" And I say, "I'm starting this business, blah, blah, blah." I explain it to him. And his whole face changed. He was so excited because he needed administrative help. He had just started his own business, which I had no idea. And I started working with him immediately. My second client, I got in the buffet line at a wedding. I'm standing there, I'm holding the plate, I'm making chit chat with a man and his wife in line. I didn't have a card, I didn't have a business name, I didn't have any of that. And he said, "What are you up to?" And "What do you do for work?" And I explained what I was doing, and I told him I had one client, and he gave me his card. And I connected with him on LinkedIn. And when I connected with him on LinkedIn, it felt to me like I was asking him to marry me. I mean, I don't know what it was with me back then, but I was so terrified of what everybody thought. What is he going to think? That I expect him to hire me, or I expect him to tell people about me, or I expect him to fill in the blank with a million things. But I got my courage together and I clicked the button. And boy, am I glad I did, because a couple of weeks later, he reaches out to me. I start working with him. I help him build his business in a whole new way. I learn a ton of stuff. He refers me to people. And now, 13 years later, not only do we work together, but we're friends and colleagues. And he's been a great person to have on my journey with me. And so you really want to stop prospecting and trying to figure out who needs a VA and how can I get them to hire me. You don't want to do that. You just want to stand in your shoes solidly and be able to talk about your work, in a clear, simple way, like I teach you guys. And so by doing that, and then once I realized this is what I really wanted, I hired a coach, I hired a mentor, and I started to make huge changes in my mindset about, all of that chicken chatter about people are going to think I want something, and, all of this silliness that wasn't true. And here's the big thing. I started keeping my word to myself. How many times, I can't even count, was I sitting at my desk, it's 10 o'clock at night, and I'm thinking, I really need to tell more people, or I need to handle my finances, or I need to do this or that. And I think, it's too late. I'm tired. I'm going to do it in the morning, right? I'm going to do it in the morning because tomorrow morning I'm going to be a whole different person. But until I got help, I wasn't a whole different person. And it just kept going on and on and on. And, I recently heard on a podcast, the problem is that we are all so used to being fine that we let go of being great, right? Feeling great, being happier, all of the things. And so if you're stuck in fine, I want you to think about that for a minute, because you don't have to stay there. You absolutely don't have to stay there. And by giving up on fine, by wanting to move into something more powerful, I was able to build a successful business. And the first year I earned $70,000. And for the next 10 years, I earned over $100,000 a year being a virtual assistant, not running an agency, not training you all how to do it, but being a virtual assistant to my clients. And the systems that I developed and the methods I used to build my own business are what I teach at the VA Connection, and I would love to teach you too. So looking back now after 13 years, in business and over 20,000 billable hours, I never thought I would be where I am today. I never thought that. My finances are handled, no more minimum payments, getting by. I have a thriving business that I built one day at a time, and I was there for my daughter as she grew up. I can breathe again. And at age 60, I married the man I have been looking for my entire life. And this is a picture of us on our wedding day with all of our kids. And I also had a dream of owning a home, and this time with my husband in Virginia and our chickens. And as of a couple of weeks ago, this is our house. We live here full time. I'm sitting in this, let's see the front door right here. This is where my office is. I don't think you can see my mouse, but this is where I'm sitting behind this door right here. And it's very exciting. We have a million bajillion projects to do around this place to restore our home. And I love doing it, and he loves doing it. And we were working on it this morning. We were removing old ceiling fans and trying to figure out the walls and all the things. And it's a big, exciting adventure that's in front of both of us, and we're really excited for it. So don't give up hope. Just decide you don't want to be fine anymore, and then start looking around at how you can make that shift. Okay, good. Yeah, one last thought, at age 50, I thought it was too late. At age 63, I can see so many possibilities. And it's all because of here. It's not because I learned a new skill or a new app or, any of that. It's all right here. It's all in the chicken chatter. It's all in the mindset. So let me help you with that so you can have what you want as well. All right, good. All right, so let's talk about ghosting. How many of you have felt ghosted? I bet most of you, right? And, so here's how it kind of goes. So you're really excited. Your brand new client has given you this big, juicy project, and you can't wait to get started. You are like all over it. And, you give it your best, you finish by the deadline, and you proudly emailed it to your client to hear back, how great you did and what the next steps are. And then you don't hear back. You don't hear back for a day, a week, or more. How many of you have had that experience, right? And you don't know what to do. And the problem is that you wonder why they're ignoring you. You start to take it personally, right? You think it's about you. And, you worry if you did something wrong, if you misunderstood, if they're going to fire you. So tell me in the chat, how many of you have had these feelings? I bet a lot of you, right? So I know there's a little delay, but tell me in the chat. And the thing is that clients get busy, and the fact that they're not communicating with you probably has zero to do with you, right? Zero to do with you. They get busy, they get distracted, their priorities change, they lose track of time, just like us, right? Just like us. And it's not a matter of if a client is going to lose focus on their work, it's just a matter of when. But I want you to skip the struggle here, okay? So the feeling of being ghosted is something that you're generating, right? You've decided to look at the circumstances of the client not responding in the time frame that you think they should, or not giving you the work that they said they would, and you're assigning a feeling to those actions of the clients that makes you feel bad. Can you see that? Right? Now, as someone who has a lot of people, thankfully, working with them, here's what happens. I ask one of my VAs, and I ask them to look at an email for me or write an email. Now, I don't give them a deadline. The VA says, can I do it by Monday? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I don't need it till Friday. And I asked her early, so she would have it to me by Friday. So I gave us both some buffer, which I didn't go into detail with her. I just didn't occur to me. And then what happened is she sent it on Monday night, and she didn't hear from me till Wednesday. And so then she followed up on Wednesday and I saw it and I said, hey, thank you. At first glance, it looks great. I'm going to look at it Friday. I didn't look at it until Saturday. And that's because here's the thing I want you to note it. I want you to know this is so important. I was grateful that she followed up. I was happy to tell her, so, tell her that I saw it. So it's not, but she did exactly the right thing. And as someone, as someone who has a lot of deadlines and a lot of things to work on, it's not even that. Let me back up. Entrepreneurs who have virtual assistants are busy. They're also scattered. They're also has shiny object syndrome. They have all the things that we have, right? Because they're people. We are in service to them. The work belongs to them and it's up to them to move it forward, right? And so sometimes we care so much that we get emotional about it and take it personally when there's no reason to at all. When the VA who sent me the work, these are my actual thoughts. Oh, cool, it's there. I can look at it later. And then I glanced at it. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to get back to her with the edits. And then I put it on my calendar. I didn't tell her because here's the thing. Our job as virtual assistants is to have enough work and generate enough work so that we're not worried about it when a client slows down or gets bogged down, right? So she has no idea that my mother was arriving. I had other work to do. My daughter was graduating from college. I had to finish cleaning up the house so my mother would actually have a path to a bed in a room. There was a lot going on, and we still hit the deadline, right? And we got the work done. But so the main message here is that the main message is that don't assign all those feelings to it. Just say to yourself the thing that will make you feel better, which is, oh gosh, I bet they're worried. I mean, I bet they're busy. They'll get back to me. And if they are the kind of person who didn't appreciate the work, didn't think you did a good job, and never told you, you don't want to work with them anyway, because like, what's that about? That's some kind of like passive aggressive weird stuff anyway. But don't make that be the story. Make the story be, that they're just so busy and happy and grateful that the work got done that they didn't have time. Because likely what happened was they're sitting in the front seat of the car and their spouse is driving them somewhere and they see the email from you that says you updated the website and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. I'm so glad. And then a text message pops up and then they forget and they know that it happened, but they're not thinking about thanking you. It's not because they're not nice people. It's just, that's because how life happens, right? So what I want you to do in this circumstance is if you don't hear back from your client in a day or two, so you send them the email like, hi, so-and-so, I just updated your website. Please let me know if there are any edits or changes. Have a great day. Okay. Then if you don't hear from them in a couple of days, or the email could be also, hi, so-and-so, I did X, Y, and Z in order for me to move forward on 1, 2, 3. Please send me the things we talked about. Can't wait to hear from you. Your name, right? So you want to keep it simple and light and keep the emotions out, because emotions don't have a lot of benefits in business, right? They just don't, and we get confused by that. So if you don't hear back, right, like by Wednesday or Thursday, take the email you already sent and then forward it to them. And here's what I want you to say. Hi, first name. I'm checking in to make sure you got the email below that I sent on Tuesday. And then, just checking in to make sure everything's okay. Or please send me 1, 2, 3 by the end of the day so we can hit our deadline. Thanks. Right? You don't have to get into a lot of if you don't, I can't, all that stuff. And the other thing is if they miss the deadline, let's say that they have something that they want to send out to their email list on Friday. And you agreed that they would have it to you by Wednesday in order for it to go out on Friday, and they send it to you Friday morning. It's not your job to then rearrange your entire life and kill yourself. You say, thank you for sending this. And then you would say, given my schedule, we'll need to send this out on Monday. That's all you have to do, right? You don't have to get into a lot of drama, and you don't have to feel bad. It's like you made an agreement and it wasn't like they didn't do it. And you're training them, right? You're training them. And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. Now, Where the emotion comes in is because we are all tied up in this thing of people pleasing, imposter syndrome, all of that makes us just be on pins and needles all the time. And you got to move away from that, because this is not your project. This is their work and you're assisting. They decide the timeline, they decide the priority, and that can change without them letting you know. And again, it doesn't feel great to be left out of the loop, and it's not because you're not important. It's because that's just the way life works. So sometimes I tell people, we just brought a new team member on. She's our tuition coordinator. Her name is Brittany, and I'm very excited to be working with her. And given what I have going on, I can't always answer her questions immediately. Right? That's just the nature of being an entrepreneur. I just like you guys can't drop and roll, I can't always drop and roll. And so it's her job to make sure she's busy with other client work. And when I respond to her, then she'll prioritize it as necessary, and fit it in. So you want to remember the work doesn't belong to you. All right. And tell me if that makes sense. And then, the other thing is you want to move on. You want to move on, because if you spend more than a couple of minutes thinking about what's going on with your client, you're wasting billable time. So here's what I would do. I would send the email. Here's the thing you wanted. Pop it back up to their inbox in a couple of days. Here's the thing you wanted. Want to make sure you saw this. And then if I wanted to follow up again, I would put it on my calendar 5 days later, but give them some time. 4 days later, a week later, check in with so-and-so if I don't hear back from them, just a little line on your calendar. And then you send them an email, just checking in to make sure everything's okay. I'll wait to hear from you to move forward. That's it. That's it. And there are clients that I have never heard from again. Now, this is the beautiful thing about getting paid up front, right? I always get paid up front using the debit card system. If you don't know about the debit card system, go over to the blog and just type into the search debit card. I get paid up front. So they pay me, they give me some of the work. Maybe they never give me the rest. I've been paid. There are no refunds. That's all there is to it. I've had people that we built a website for them, and we've built 99% of the website. And then I didn't hear from them for 2 years. My graphics guy and I were Googling obituaries. It was during COVID. We thought maybe she died of COVID. Like, seriously, that's how much she was, not responding to us. But after a while, I totally forgot about it. I was like, whatever, because there was a certain responsibility that I felt to make sure she knew, this is the next step. We're right here. And then the third email is really, when I hear from you, we'll figure out what we're going to do next. And that's it. And then spend your time and your cycles and your energy on meeting new people and bringing in new clients. Because remember, to have that billability that you want, you're going to need to bring between 1 and 3 new clients every single month. So wasting any time thinking about how your client is being mean or disrespectful or thinking about firing them, to let it go, completely let it go. I would say that at any given time, a third of my clients, maybe a quarter, let's say, I bet it's more like a quarter, 25% of my clients are ignoring me. But I don't think about it as ignoring me. I just think about it like their dog died. Who knows what happened? Their kid graduated from college. They bought a new house. They forgot. Somebody's sick. I don't know. But I just don't try to assign something to it that has anything to do with me. Because until they tell me specifically the work wasn't up to speed, which they really never do, you have to just make it about them. Like, okay, whatever, they're busy, they're this, they're that, fill in the blank, and move on. Okay. So you're in charge of your, I want to say one more thing. I want to emphasize this because I know a lot of you worry about this. If you're worried that your client is going to come back to you at the last minute and expect you to drop everything to meet their deadline, you are not at their mercy. And if you don't drop everything and do what they need, you are not selfish or mean. You are none of those things. You are a business owner who has prioritized her day and has things to do. and you can fit it in, so I've had a client do that. And so she came back on Friday. She needs to get everything done. It has to happen right now. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And I say to her, in an email, hi, so-and-so, thank you so much for sending the information. My day is already booked. The first time I can finish this work for you is Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning. Let me know if that works. And she said it didn't, and she did it herself. Fine. So my options are to do that, or to jump up and down really high and then wonder why she keeps waiting till the last minute and she throws things over the fence at me, right? You don't want to do that. It's not professional. It's not professional. Now, if you have a client who is amazing and you love them and they never do this, and this happens and it is an emergency because their dog died, help them if you can, right? It's not about being, strict and stringent. It's about holding boundaries, which don't have to be these firm things with like handcuffs on them, right? It's just about common sense. So, remember, you're in charge of your schedule, you're in charge of your boundaries, and you can do this while being professional and helpful. And, there are people who chronically run their business from chaos. This is a lifestyle choice, right? Those people that are running around crazy busy, crazy busy, crazy busy, they're producing that. They're producing that. And I want you to think about your life as well, because if, there are times where I feel like I'm running around, and then I think, wait a minute, what am I doing? I'm creating all this stress, all of this hype around what I need to do. I just need to calm down, put some music on, and get it done, right? And take all this energy away, because that's the thing that really zaps us when we're trying to get things done. Okay, so put your sanity first. Good. So George says it makes sense, and Shafira is all in on this. So being ghosted is a feeling. We don't have to give into it. Don't give the clients the power to control how your day goes. Be respectful, be kind, let them know where you are in as few sentences as possible, and wait to hear from them. Okay, good. Now, if you would like to attend my free 5-day training, I would love to have you. It's called Kickstart Your VA Business. We are starting on Monday in just a couple of days. Hundreds and hundreds, almost 1,000 people actually have already signed up. And I'd love to have you too. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the services. We're going to start from the top, right? We're going to start from the top of starting your business. And if you've been in business for a while and you're not where you want to be, you've likely just missed a step, right? You've likely just missed a step. So come participate with me. Monday, we're going to talk about the services you can offer. Tuesday, we're going to uncover one of the biggest mistakes that virtual assistants make when trying to grow their businesses, and that is they don't really know how to talk about their work. They blather on and on and on. I'm going to give you the exact words and then my secret hashtag on how to make a huge difference in your business by being clear about how you talk about your work. On Wednesday, we're going to talk about where the clients are, because I don't want you chasing around on Facebook and, Upwork and on Fiverr and all the places looking for people who want to pay you $15 an hour. That is not what we're doing here. So on Wednesday, I'm going to talk about what you can do so clients come to you. On Thursday, we're going to we're going to talk about setting up the systems you need once you have the clients, right? Once you have the clients, because there's more to running a successful virtual assistant business than having VA work. So we're going to talk about that. And then also on Thursday, I'm very excited. I'm going to open enrollment to my signature program called VA School, where I teach you everything you need to know to have a thriving business as a virtual assistant. And then on Friday, we are going to have an epic Q&A. We're going to answer, you're going to be able to ask questions throughout the entire week. My VA Mandy is going to be there gathering the questions, putting them on a spreadsheet, and I'm going to answer every single one on Friday. So I hope you'll put this on your calendar. In fact, if you go over to vakickstart.com and you sign up, you'll get an email from me. You can click a link and download the entire calendar with all the links, all the things right there. So I hope you'll join me. Okay, good. So thank you for joining me for Lessons from the Cockpit. I'm thrilled that you're here. It's nice to meet you. And until our next session, bye for now.